welcome everyone to another show from Straight from the Paws. Today I have some return guests with us, and if you don't recognize them, I'll introduce them again. I have first Allie, the proud mother of Wandia, Lois. This is the cat. Hi Wandia, that's a good girl. And then we have her other little puppy that's hers, and it's her baby's, and that is Diwana. Oh, I got it right this time, and look how cute you are. And of course, who comes along is Grammy, Lois. So these fine people are personal friends of mine, but we reconnected several years ago, which was very, very nice. And I was very happy to see them. And I got to know Allie, because I didn't really know Allie. I just knew Lois. We grew up together in sort of in the same neighborhood. So we've reconnected, which has made me very happy. And obviously, they're animal people. So the reason why they're coming back today is that I'll let Allie tell you why she's got some great news for us.
So basically, I set a goal for myself that I wanted to visit all 50 states by the time I was 50, and I've completed that goal. I am happy and proud to say that. Back in February, we went to Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and we celebrated all 50 states.
All 50 states, way before she turned 50, that's for sure. We know that.
15 years.
15 years. Wow. Well, you've done an awesome job, and I know in the past we talked a little bit about traveling with your pets, and I know that both animals didn't make it to all 50 states, nor did Mom.
I did.
You did make it all 50 states?
Yes.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Yes, we traveled together.
You traveled together.
We're traveling partners.
Awesome.
And then the ones that I went to that she didn't, she ended up going to when we had to drive through them. So we would stop, she would be able to see it, and I redid the other ones.
So I was correct then. All right, but you've made all 50 states. Well, congratulations to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's an awesome accomplishment. I really do. I don't know how you've done that, but you know, as you well know, and recently, unfortunately, there's been some very bad publicity for airlines concerning traveling with pets and how that's working. I just read an article in Herald News that, you know, traveling with pets is a little bit more difficult, and they suggest that if you have pets that have to go into cargo, which I know you would never do, I would never do, but some people that have the larger dogs would have to do it. And they suggest that you only go in the springtime and in the fall, because it is hot in cargo. It's not like it's air conditioned like on the plane. Right. And they also suggest that you have all the medical papers with yourself as well as with the animal in the encasement, because I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but some animals have actually been left off at the wrong airport, and the people are still on the plane. And of course, and then we had that poor dog that ended up dying being in the airplane, which I know that you would have probably got taken off that plane.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You would have been off that plane. That would not have happened. You know, the flight would not have gone on because you would have been right there telling this woman, you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't understand why she would have even done that. Like, it's kind of like a common sense thing. Like, would you put your infant in there? That's how I see it. If I'm not going to do it to my baby, I'm not going to do it to them.
Exactly.
It's that easy.
She sort of backtracked and said, well, I didn't know it was a live animal. Well, really? You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that just didn't make sense on that one. So let's talk a little bit about traveling with, well, obviously both pets. So you both travel, so you each can take a pet.
Right.
Yes, on the plane, yeah, you're only allowed one animal per person. So I usually have Diwana, and then she has Wandia. Okay. And then they count as luggage, like your personal item. Okay,
what, really? Okay.
Yeah, they count as your personal item, but you can get like two carry-ons with you. So you have like a carry-on, then you have a personal item. So it'll count for either one of those. So you can still have like another bag, basically. But it's supposed to count as one of those. And then there's a fee, but the fees are different depending on the airline. Okay. So I think it ranges between anywhere from like 100, 125. I usually just go with the 100. I don't want to pay any more than that. So it's $100 each way for each of them.
So you pay $400 just for them to travel?
To fly. That's why a lot of the times we were driving. And then there was one time we were in Chicago where she got sick and she was out there. So thank God we were driving, because if we were on a plane, I don't know what I would do. Do you know what I mean? So I do like to drive more with them. I feel safer driving more with them. But at the end of the day, you can't always drive. Sometimes you do have to take a plane, so you got to bite the bullet there. But yeah, if that's to fly. But we have done a lot of road trips.
What would you suggest a certain airline versus, you know, don't say the bad ones, but which one do you fly mostly on?
I love JetBlue, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why I love JetBlue. There was one time we were flying, and we had both of them, and I was in the middle seat. that was my seat, and I had Diwana with me, and I put her under the middle seat. And when I put her there, it was like kind of hard to get her under there, but I didn't really understand why. I just thought that was just the way the airline was, or whatever. So then one of the flight attendants came by, and she's like, "Is that a dog in there?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "You can't have her in the middle seat." And I was like, "Why not?" And she's like, "Because there's a box under there that is for like the TVs. You know how they all have TVs.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be too hot, and it could burn her."
Wow.
She's like, "We have to move your seat. We have to see if someone will switch with you." So she made sure that they were both safe.
Nice.
And I thank God for her, because
Yep.
I would never have known.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
And that's a good piece of information for our audience, because
Yeah.
I travel on JetBlue also, and I haven't brought my dog yet on. We seem to her, I will say her aunt. Prefers that she stays home with her, Joyce. Prefers that she keeps her at home with her. So when we do our traveling, she's been, she has the luxury of staying behind. We've brought her, not on a plane, but we've driven to Florida with her, and she wasn't very good traveling. So I can say that I don't like to over-medicate. I don't like to medicate an animal when you don't have to, but we had just gotten her, and we needed to we had already had plans to travel, so we took her to Florida in the crate and the whole bit in the car, and at first it was difficult, but we did give her the medication, and she did well with that. And I don't find that to be too bad, because it's not something that I normally would give her. I can't remember exactly what the medication was, but you go to any vet, any reputable vet, and they'll tell you what to do and how to travel with the with the animal and take the vet. And she was good, because she took the medication, and then she would sleep for a while. But she was a real nervous Nellie, and he didn't want to hold her in my arms, because you don't know when you're traveling what's going to happen. So that's important. So let's talk a little bit, when they're on the plane, do you sedate your animals at all?
No, I've never sedated them.
Never sedate them. That's awesome.
Yeah. People think I do.
People, they think that they're sedated in the airport.
They ask us all the time.
Yeah.
Like just recently, last week or a week ago, we did an egg hunt for Easter with them, like a pet egg hunt, and they were just chilling in the carriage, and they're like, "Did you spray her with something?" And I was like, "No."
Really?
This is just them.
They've been traveling since 3 months old.
So that makes a
that's
difference.
part,
yeah.
I think they're just used to it.
They're used to it.
They're used to it.
And they do it a lot. But also too, like I do bring like their blankets, stuff from home, toys, things that are gonna make them comfortable and feel like they're at home. And I've never put them. I put her once in a crate the first time I did road trip, and then I didn't do it again because she wasn't too keen on it. So now when we do the road trips, I have a car seat for her.
Okay.
And then I just tie her to the I harness her to the seatbelt and put her on her blankie.
And that's it.
Yeah, and they just sleep.
Yeah, my dog wouldn't do that. She's got a car seat. Not fond of that either. But if for a long trip, like I said, that one particular time we had a small one, and she did okay. She did okay with the crate. But again, it depends on your animals, and your animals. And like Lois, you pointed out, 3 months. I mean, they're sort of used to it, and that's a good thing. And a lot of times, what people forget is, when you take your dog out in the car, where are they going? They're either going to the groomer or they're going to the vet.
Right.
And they're not happy about it. So they automatically get their, they're up in arms. So Lois, what's the experience that you've had with your grandkids here that have been exciting or interesting?
I like when we take them out to dinner. We take them to the restaurant. We usually sit outside in nice weather. And they get better service than we do.
They do. They do, huh?
They really do.
Yes, and they're very good, and sometimes they get a treat. They get some chicken.
Really?
And yes, we take them out for their birthdays.
They even have, there's a place in Atlantic City that we've stayed at a couple times, and we've gone to their restaurant, and they actually have a dog menu.
Really?
So you go there and it says doggy menu, and you just order whatever you want.
We went
for
to
them.
a cocktail reception in Philadelphia.
Really?
For just pets.
For just pets?
Just pets.
Wow.
Yep.
We thought,
And there was a
about
lot of
having
pets
one here.
there.
Yeah,
a lot of pets.
It was fun too.
It was fun, yep.
And then in Maine, they had room service just for them. So they had like the menu like the other place did. So you order their room service. They come with their food, their bowl, everything for them, their cookie. And then when they turn down the bed, when we get like chocolate, they get a bone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Now, I know in the past you've told us before, we'll just mention it again, because you advised Bev and I to do this La Quinta. And you like La Quinta. Can you explain a little bit about La Quinta?
I like La Quinta because, one, there's no fee. So in a lot of hotels, you're going to probably find a fee for each pet per night, et cetera, et cetera. This one, they do not charge a fee. And also, too, you can have cats. A lot of times you won't find people too keen on cats. I have called around for certain bed and breakfasts and things like that where it's just dogs, and I'm like, but you don't understand, like, you know, she travels a lot, like, I can vouch for her. And they're like, all right, it's fine as long as, you know, the room is okay. If the room's not, you're in trouble. I'm like, I know. But a lot of major hotel chains don't allow cats. Some do, don't get me wrong, some don't, but there's a fee. So with them, it's real easy. They allow the cat, they allow 2 of them, there's no fee. The price is really good, like it's not an exorbitant amount of money. Also too, they have a rewards program. So if you continue to go with them and you build up these awards, you get free nights. So our last trip, we had what, 4 free nights? Yeah, we had about 4 free nights. So that's awesome to me. And they're like almost everywhere.
And they are, and you're right. And so you had advised us about that. And so when we were traveling down to Florida with Lola, we stayed at La Quinta, and now we've only earned, like, I think 1 free night, but we have a free night, and so that's exciting because you know you can go and stay someplace else and for a couple of days and do the traveling.
They've stayed at the Waldorf Astoria in New York.
They have.
Yeah.
Waldorf Astoria in New York. Excuse
And
me,
they loved
I've
it.
never
And
been
they loved
it.
They loved it.
Really? And they were treated well.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Really?
well.
That is
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
Yep.
All right, so last time you were here, you had a few more, states to go through, but talk a little bit about, after all is said and done, what was like top 3 for you, Allie?
I loved New Mexico. That was amazing. Wandia didn't get to go to New Mexico. She wasn't alive then, but Diwana did, so we all went there. And I liked it because it was quiet, but also fun and exciting all at the same time. People were really nice. The driving was great. And it was beautiful. We went to White Sands. There's like pictures I have with Diwana in White Sands. It was it was amazing. I really love New Orleans. Like, I'm not done with that place. I definitely want to go back there. Mardi Gras was really fun.
Well, I noticed on Facebook, we saw a lot of things on Facebook for Mardi Gras. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep the body that you do and have all the food that you do and the drinks that you do. I'm amazed. I think you've got a hollow leg there or something because I don't know how you do it. But
I keep running around everywhere.
You run around. You've got you're definitely a high energy. And what was your 3rd top?
My 3rd, gee, they were all really nice. I'm trying to think of my other 3rd one would be.
I'm going to be asking you, Lois, so you better thinking.
I'm thinking.
I mean, I've always loved Florida, obviously California.
Okay.
Alaska was fun. I don't know if I have a full
They're
3rd.
okay with the cold in Alaska and all that?
These guys didn't go to Alaska. So Diwana went to 45 states, and Wandia Lois went to 43. When I went to Alaska, I was 14. They weren't alive. And then they weren't alive when I went to Hawaii. And when we were in Wisconsin, she was at the hotel. She stayed at the hotel, so she didn't go to Wisconsin. And then, trying to think what the other ones were. Oh yeah, California, Nevada. I was younger. And then she didn't go to all those. Plus, she didn't go to New Mexico. She wasn't alive then. And she didn't.
So
go
they got
somewhere else.
gypped out, so they could go in the future
Yeah.
again. Though, so there might be repeats there.
But like for Hawaii, my friends have brought their animals there, and I hear that you have to like quarantine them before they go.
I've heard that
Like
too.
about 3 months. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ever go to Hawaii with them.
Yeah, I know someone that was on base in Hawaii and then just came back and had adopted 2 dogs there, and they had to put their dogs in quarantine before they came. So that would be you would not go through that.
No.
I understand it, and that is difficult. Sometimes that does happen. Lois, what about you?
Okay, the states we've traveled together. Gee, I liked New Orleans.
You liked New Orleans.
Yes. I liked South Dakota when
South
we
Dakota,
traveled to
okay.
those
Nice.
states. Well, they were all good.
They were all amazing.
Like, yeah, they were all great.
And when you're there, you both, I mean, because I've seen it now that, we're friends on Facebook and so on, that you do go places. You go to museums, you go to, the wax museums, you go to a lot of
travel with Ali, you get 8 hours sleep, and that's it. Then you go.
You
It's
mean 8 hours,
nonstop.
not a day? You mean just 8
8
hours?
No, a day.
day, you do?
have to get that to have the energy to
Okay,
keep up.
and you just keep
And when
going.
you just keep going, she's got it all, scheduled, and she plans ahead. Right. Yes.
And then a lot of times too, I'll search before I go the city, and I'll be like, what's pet friendly there, so that I know that I can take them out places. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want them sitting in the hotel the whole time. So I think it's dog friendly. There's a website that I use all the time, and you can just search the state, search the city, and it tells you everything they have there. And then of course you can add your own stuff too if you find that a place is pet friendly. Because I've just come across certain places that I didn't realize they weren't on the list, but I could just go in with them. We did like a nice walk in Alabama. It was like a
Oh, yeah.
botanical gardens, and we went through with them, and they didn't mind.
And you could take them with you.
Yeah. A lot of times when they're in, because they have a carriage, so a lot of times when they're in the carriage, especially the cat, like they don't mind because it's controlled. You know what I mean? They're not gonna like mess anywhere or anything like that, or attack anyone because they're protected in the carriage. So
And then they shopping. We take them shopping.
they
You do
love
take
to
them
go shopping.
Shopping.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
People love to have them in the store too. Like there was.
Then you
"Come
have
on
to
in."
stop for pictures.
Of
There's
course,
always
people-
hundreds of pictures.
Oh, many
People want to take
people.
pictures.
Pictures all
Now,
the
do you
time.
dress them up every day when you're out there?
Oh yeah, they
The
have
majority
outfits.
of the time, yeah. If it's too hot, I won't put a lot on them unless they're in the sun. I don't want them to like burn. But other than that, mostly if it's cold, I'll put it on them. Yeah, so that they're warm.
Okay. It amazes me as to how much you do with them and what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about advice for someone that's traveling that didn't see our last show. I mean, you know, I know I was neurotic when I had my other dogs, and we took a camper down to Florida once. I read up on things, and people can do that. You know, on the website you can find a lot of things. You can get crazy, and if you're like me, OCD, you can get really crazy about things. But I know that, for example, water. They explained to me at the time, and of course at the time we didn't have bottled water, but they'd say, well, don't have the water that they used to drinking. Have you ever found a problem with that at all, that they got sick because of water?
So Diwana at home, she drinks spring water.
Okay.
So I will bring a bottle of spring water with us if we're in a road trip. If we're flying, that's the first thing I do when I get there is buy the bottled water. With Wandia, she always drinks our water at home, which is well water. So I've knock on wood, I've never had a problem with her with the water or anything. If I did, I could always just switch to the spring water, which I have for Diwana anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, but definitely bring a lot of water. That's like super important.
Right, because I can remember we had, Bev's mom was with us on a road trip, and she said, she was hot, and we had a problem. So let me just put it this way: it was called the camper from hell. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible, and it was. I could go on and on about that terrible vacation, but the bottom line is we were in this, and the air conditioner had let go, and we were like not even like out of New Jersey or something.
Oh.
It was horrific. And so her mom was never a soda drinker or anything like that, and I of course had soda, and we had a little, had a little refrigerator, cooler, whatever, and she's like, well, I just want some water. I'm like, no, you can't have the water. It's for the dogs. And she's like, but I don't drink soda. I said, well, then you're just going to have to wait because you can't have my dog's water. And she's looking at me, and I'm like, I'm serious because I was told, and I've got it figured out how much water I need, And then like I said at the time, bottled water wasn't a big thing. I think they had it, but it was obviously more expensive at the time. There wasn't
Right.
as many companies. And so finally, I was like, well, okay, you can have a couple of sips, but that's all you're having. That's all you can have. And it was like, oh my God, she couldn't believe it. But unfortunately, traveling, you don't realize that. You don't realize that there are different kinds of, waters out there, even from the faucet, whatever. But now you can get bottled water, so that makes it easier.
That's another good thing about La Quinta. If you're an elite member,
Which I'm sure you are.
yeah,
Okay.
you get a free drink and snack when you arrive. So if you're flying, right, because this had happened like when we went to Seattle. I flew in, I didn't have any water for them, but they gave me a bottle of water,
Oh, perfect.
right? So perfect, I had it for that night, I was fine,
And forget Mom, she could drink the tap water, right?
Oh, we all drink
Oh,
tap
yeah,
water,
I
yeah.
drink
She's the
tap
only
water.
one with the spring
She's the only one that gets the
She's
spring
the only
water.
one.
Yes.
Wow, talk about being spoiled. All right, so let's talk a little bit. How old are both of your little children here?
So Diwana is 10. She's going to be 11 next month.
Next month, okay.
And Wandia Lois is 8. She's going to be 9 in July.
Okay. You knew that right off the top of your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I got to work on that. Okay, so 9 and 10. And so you got both of them as one is a pup and one is a kitten?
No, I got them both as a puppy and a kitten. So
You
they,
did?
yeah, they're both about 3 months old when I got them.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So what other advice would you give our audience about, well, let's say, go back to flying? Is there anything else that you think has come up? Because like I said, in the news lately, we've had some really bad things going on with flying. Do you have any other advice that you'd want to share with the audience about that would make it easier for them making these decisions on where to fly and what airlines?
I would say, in my opinion, I would always go with JetBlue first. I would research any stories that they had, negative stories on any airline, to see what they say about them and what's happened, what situations, and I would take it from there. But at the end of the day, like I said, if you're not going to do something to an infant, to a baby, don't do it to them. Plain and simple.
It's good. That's very good advice. And the other thing about JetBlue too, because like I've traveled with JetBlue, they do have that extended area where you pay a little bit more, but you can't have that. Although they were talking about taking that out because JetBlue's seating is also more spacious than other airlines.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have unlimited snacks, which is really nice.
Oh, and I didn't realize that. I got to remember this, unlimited snacks. I didn't know that.
I say that about the baby, but I mean, obviously you're not going to put a baby in like a carrier underneath,
Sure.
underneath,
No.
underneath the seat in front. But I mean, common sense stuff like things like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, have you ever had a situation? You know, let's not get graphic here, but have you ever had a situation with either of your animals where they had to do their duty, so to speak,
So this
in the plane?
This is an interesting one.
In the plane, I've never had a problem because I walk them. I walk Diwana in like the bathroom before I get on the plane. So I have poopy pads, pee-pee pads.
Okay.
We'll go into the bathroom. I'll lay it down. She goes. She's fine. And then Wandia, she's crazy. Like she can hold it for like she held it for 23 hours
one
once.
time.
Yeah, I
Really?
don't know how she does
She
it.
took
but
her into the ladies' room.
I know. I'm like,
Really?
go, like you can
Yeah.
go. And she just didn't care. And then she went when she got home.
Yeah.
Because it's
Wow.
been like layovers and stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then what we do on the plane for her, I put like a diaper on her, just in case she has like,
Okay.
you know, like a problem. Usually it's if she gets scared, like if there's turbulence
Sure.
or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
But there was this one time in Philadelphia, she wasn't around, she was a puppy, and it was my fault. I should have listened to her. But we were out shopping, and she had her carriage, and she's in the carriage, and she's crying, she's whimpering and whimpering. And I just thought, you know, she was little, like, you know, it
Yeah.
was like one of the first
Like
trips.
the babies.
Yeah, she had I was like, there's people around, like, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Then she's quiet. That's weird. So I go and I grab her and I pick her up and I'm like, I want it. And I put her on me and all of a sudden I realized she has poop all over her. And it was all over me. And I was like, oh no. So I ended up having to like go buy a new shirt because I was full of poop. But at the end, and clean the carriage. But at the end of the day, like I would say, listen to them. Listen to your animals because they're probably telling you something. If like they're crying when they don't normally cry, they probably have to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Got
And
it.
sometimes she does that in the car too. She'll be like whimpering. I'm like, all right, she's gotta go to the bathroom. So we have to pull over and she goes. But other than that, like with the driving, we stop because we have to go anyway.
Sure.
So when we go, bring her, and we do like no more than 9-hour drives. Sometimes it'll be 10 if we hit traffic, but no more than like 9-hour drives so that we stop in between at hotels so they can rest and get out of like the car and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'm always bringing them to the bathroom and then diapers.
So let me ask you another question. I know with some people with bigger animals than your two, like if you're in the front and you're driving 7 or 8 hours, let's say, and you're having a snack, do you bring snacks for the animals too, or do you think that they'll come after? Would they go after your food or?
They never come after my food because I never really feed them any kind of human
Okay.
food. Very
Yeah.
rarely do
Nor
I
do
feed
we,
them human
yeah.
food, but also too they're usually sleeping anyway. I do have snacks for them just in case. You never
Okay.
know. You know what I mean? Obviously their food's in the car too, but I will give them snacks every now and then, and I definitely give them water.
Okay.
She doesn't care much about it, but she likes the water a lot.
Sure. So when you're traveling, and there are things that you can go into any local PetSmart or Petco, and you've shown us that before. The traveling bowls and things that make it easier for them,
Yep.
and make it easier for you. And and I think that the pee-pee pads and all that are important. And and the other idea too is that if you've never introduced your animal to the pads, you might want to do it ahead of time. You may not want to do it in your house just because you don't want the dog to know that or the dog or the cat, know that they're going to do that in the house, because then when you come back from vacation, now you're stuck with them being on those pads. But you can take the pads outside where the dog normally goes. Like right now I have a foster dog, and she is not willing to go outside at all. When we first got her, we've had her like 2.5 weeks now. She would not go outside at all. So we'd have to walk her on a leash, which she did not walk well on a leash. So we kind of figured out that maybe she was using it, and she was holding herself. This is a Chihuahua. She was holding herself like it was like 16 hours, and she hadn't done urinated or anything else. And I was like, this is not good. But she was very, very afraid, and so afraid. So we put the pee-pee pad down, and eventually she went on that. We're teaching her how to walk outside on a leash, and she's learning how to do that. But very fearful of going outside and pooping. I don't think this dog had ever been on, like they say she's about 6 years old, has ever been on grass. so she didn't do the typical sniffing of a dog or anything like that. So you got to sort of train them ahead of time. So if you want them to use those pads, even though they say, well, they're scented and they'll use them right away, that's not necessarily the case. So if you're going to prepare for a trip, as Allie's pointed out, you've really got to try to prepare ahead. And again, like if you have a child, you're going to make sure that there's certain videos that they can watch and certain things they can have and treats, but you also got to prepare for your animal and maybe taking the wee pad outside so that they know, like this animal, we finally got her when we weren't in the room, she finally went on the pad. So we knew she could go, and we knew that that was something she was used to. So she was always doing that, but so fearful. And that's the other thing too, again, talking about being on a plane. Kids on a plane, some infants do really well, and some kids do horrific.
True.
You've probably experienced that traveling.
Right.
I've experienced it traveling. Your feet and get kicked in the back, and they're
Right.
screaming in your ears, and the parent just can't console them. Same thing with animals. So if you're going to start your first trip, I would say we wouldn't advise you to go from here to California.
Right.
You might want to do a shorter trip. So, or have a couple of trip with layovers just for your animals to be able to stretch their legs.
Well, what we did for their first trips was little road trips, like to New Hampshire. First, we started like little
Great
things like
advice.
that, and then we
Yep.
built up to a bigger road trip. Then we built up to the plane. So yeah, like you got to kind of build and climb those stairs up. We didn't
Good.
just full blown jump on like let's go to China, like
Yeah, exactly. But some people don't think like that. Some people don't think about what it is. Like I said, with this new foster dog, we weren't sure where she came from, what was going on, and now, well, like I said, when I had first got my dog, we had already had a condo and we had to go to, and we had it planned, so now we had to fit her into the plans. And we
Right,
made
yeah.
sure that we had to work with a vet and figure out how we were going to do it, how she was in the car. We had a trainer come, a personal trainer, work with her on how to be in the car, be in a car seat, because she wasn't used to that at all. And we worked on it several months ahead of time and even postponed the vacation a little bit further back so that she could travel with us. Well, you've shared a lot of information, and I'm glad that you finally accomplished your goal of 50 states.
Thank you.
And that was awesome. And again, it's always great to see you two and your two little kids with you, because like you said, well, she's not,
sleeping?
Yeah, no, not yet. She's got her eyes open. She's looking, and she's doing really well. But I want to thank them
Hi.
too. And again, I love the way you color coordinate everybody and even the animals. And maybe you'll come back again some other time and tell us some exciting news about some other things going on. But I think you're a great pet owner. I mean, I hate using the term pet owner, but I think you're a great animal lover, and you two do really well with the animals. And really appreciate you being here today. Thanks again. And folks, remember, straight from the paws. And if you want to travel, this is the show you should listen to and hear about how to travel with your pets. Thank you.